So I have 3 boys. At the filming of this, Cody is almost 20, Cooper is almost 18, and Braden, our youngest, is recently turned 15. Now my middle son, Cooper, all the boys have passions, but my middle son, Cooper, loves basketball. And he decided to play basketball pretty late in his high school career. He had played baseball most of his life, and so he decided to play basketball in his sophomore year, at Riverview High School, which is a huge school. And he tried out for the team and made the JV. And guess what? Second or third game, completely catastrophic tear of his ACL. Went down, and what should have been probably the end of his career was actually a pivotal moment for him. It was a catalyst moment where he went into rehab, he went into recovery, he developed his own work regimen, his own deep work, and he started coming back, and he started working super hard on his own, going to therapy way more times than he had to, just this god-awful pace for trying to get back on the court. And he did, and to this day, he's going into his senior year right now. He's played on a couple of travel ball teams. He had a lot of good playing minutes last year as a junior, and really has a promising season before him right now. And if you were to sit down with Cooper and ask him what all of this, meant to him, I think what he would probably tell you, because we've had conversations on it, is he got a really good sense of what he is capable of, even when he faces tremendous adversity, right? Especially when it's something he's passionate about. He will not be deterred. He will not be stopped. He will keep working to get what he wants. And that's exactly what he did, and that's exactly what he learned from this story. Now, the story I just told you is a timeless story. It is the hero's journey, which is one of the oldest forms of story in the world. It's a universal form of story, and it's our theme for this week, the first week of August, and it's going to feed into another month of narrative competence. We started narrative competence last month in July, talking about the integration of storytelling, active listening, and physical intention combined to meet your interpersonal goals. We're going to stay on that because this is at the epicenter of rooftop leadership. Rooftop leaders have narrative competence, and because of that, they're the most relevant person in the room because they make deeper connections. But this is a skill. This is not instinct. And so we're going to take another month and we're going to keep diving into this. The hero's journey is a story structure that can really serve you well when you are leading with story. The story I just told you about Cooper falls into the hero's journey framework, which was really codified by a guy named Joseph Campbell in his book, The Hero with 1,000 Faces. And what Campbell essentially said is every hero or every protagonist or main character, if you will, from Alexander the Great to Rocky Balboa to JFK, they all follow the structure of the hero's journey. It's a universal structure for very purposeful storytelling. Now, you ask, okay, what kind of purposes? Well, these things, the hero's journey structure is great for keynotes. If you have to get up on the stage and address people, whether it's at a church congregation or at a massive keynote, the hero's journey is a great structure to use. It's also great for honoring people, folks who are new arrivals to your team or your company, or maybe you're honoring someone for an award, or maybe you have to introduce a guest speaker, or even introduce one person to another, a very sacred form of connection. If you study with me in Rooftop Leadership, the hero's journey structure is a great way to do that at the most visceral, primal level where people feel a sense of reciprocity. The story is so compelling, is so powerful. They want to do something for you. It hits an emotional chord, right? It's great for teaching powerful lessons, whether it's in the classroom or whether it's on the stage or whether it's in a corporate environment. The hero's journey will really help you sell a product or a service, especially if you use it as a framework for telling customer success stories. You can use it as a way to convey your vision to employees, to associates, to people who follow you, who you need to follow you even when you're not around, who feel a sense of connection to your vision. The hero's journey is a great way to do that. It's also something you should have for your, what I call, rooftop story, your backstory, your origin story, the story that tells us why we should follow you up ladders into the darkness, right? And trust you enough to go up and do something we otherwise wouldn't do. That's what these kinds of hero's journey stories can do. They're powerful, powerful things. Why are they so powerful? Why is the hero's journey such a universal structure? Well, because it follows all the essential components of what the listener's brain requires to make sense of the world, the make sense mandate, as Kendall Haven calls it in his book, Story Smart. It hits all the blocks, if you will. And so a smart leader, a relevant leader, they know the hero's journey inside and out. It lets us make sense of our surroundings. And again, you will be hard-pressed to find a story that does not convey the hero's journey, right? And so a lot of people also, they have like a complex about this whole hero's journey thing. Cooper, for example, would not, he's going to see this on social media. He'll probably have the ass at me for even telling his story, but that's okay. But Cooper would not like me calling him a hero because he doesn't think of himself that way. He's very humble. All my boys are. Military guys and gals are the same way. You probably are the same way. You don't like to think of yourself as a hero. That's not really what this structure means. In this sense, the hero is the main character. And another essential element in story is it's character-based. Humans are the most social creatures on the planet, so we don't want to hear about something if it doesn't involve characters, whether it's fictional or real life. Okay, so in this sense, the hero is the protagonist, the main character of the story. And in the sense of hero, the way I would ask you to think about it is simply this. The hero starts out at a point where gets kicked in the butt, basically, and then has to struggle through a series of events. And it's that journey through struggle that other people view as heroic. It's what makes that protagonist relatable. And that's where the term hero's journey comes from. It's not that you're a hero and you show up like Rocky dancing around the ring. Remember, Rocky had to go through a massive struggle. He had to chase the chicken around the yard. Mick called him a bum. Adrian stood him up, and he lost the fight in the first Rocky. But he made the journey. And that's the key. And in the next episode, we'll talk about birthing your story and what the components are of the hero's journey. If you like this kind of content and you want to lead from the rooftop and you want to be relevant, I would encourage you to join our Rooftop Leadership Mastery community. It's an online membership that costs about what it costs you to take your family out to eat once a month, but the investment, the return on investment in terms of the human connections you make, better connections with your clients, better leadership goals for yourself, ultimate performance in building a team and pursuing your deep tracks in the world, you won't find anything out there like it, because I bring all of my skill sets that I learned as a Green Beret, as an entrepreneur, as a corporate trainer, a speaker, a news analyst, all of that into the Rooftop Leadership Mastery community. It's a tribe of like-minded people just like you who want to make a difference in the world, but who don't necessarily have the ability right now to hit the price point for personal coaching or the time to come down to a live event, right? It includes monthly coaching calls for our community on Zoom. You have unfettered access to a learning center called Rooftop University, where all the stuff we talk about plus tons more is accessible to you through video, PDFs, and podcasts. And then finally, we have a private team room where you can go in and interact with some of the coolest people on the planet from across the country, multiple disciplines, who are rooftop leaders just like you, who believe in serving a purpose bigger than themselves, who want to lead people to follow them, not because they have to, but because they choose to. All you got to do is go to rooftopleadership.com/mastery, sign up, and again, for about what it takes to eat out, $50 a month, you can have access to tremendous content. I want you to join us. I want you to be part of this community. Don't forget the hero's journey when it comes to storytelling, and I'll see you next time on the Rooftop.